Hello again. Well, in deference to my Lancashire heritage, I've gone and bought myself a pair of traditional Lancashire clogs. As you can see, these are, well, barely used. They're not worn, not properly worn at all. Managed to pick some up second hand for a quite sensible price. Clogs are handmade, and they tend to demand handmade prices. So, if you have a look at that, you'll see in the own light here how thick that leather is, and also how stiff the leather is. Half past, I thought it was going to start striking then. Very thick leather, thick wooden soles, as you'd expect on a clog. And these don't have clog irons. Traditional Lancashire mills tended to have iron, what looked like horseshoes but shaped to fit the sole. And they were called clog irons. You could also get rubber strips that went around, and they were basically shot, clog shots. These have a bit more grip. I bought them off a guy who has a farm, and he was doing a bit of engineering work on trucks and such like. So yeah, he'd ordered the wrong style. He wanted one with a round toe, so I bought these off him. These fit. They're a loose fit at the moment because you can't tighten that much because the leather's so stiff. So what I'm going to do is help them break in. I'm going to put a bit of shoe cream on there, rub that in, and it might soften the leather just a touch. But yeah, they're going to take a bit of wearing in. I'm going to have to wear some thick wool socks with them, I think, to stop them rubbing. But yeah, great for winter. And they're actually surprisingly comfortable, although you can't bend your foot. You've got room inside, plenty of room inside for wiggling your toes and such. I mean, these were designed for people who are on the feet in a factory 12 hours a day, so I'm walking there, walking back. Would I like to be back in those times? Would I? Heck, it's hard work. But yeah, I quite like, in deference to my heritage, as I said before, I don't mind wearing a pair of clogs. I'm not a dedicated follower of fashion, so they don't need 3 stripes downside or a little tick to make me buy them. We'll wear them. They'll do well while I'm out and about in garage. Good sturdy pair of shoes. Right, first thing to do is try and soften them up a bit. Here's what I'm going to be using to try and soften them up a little bit. So basically, you're probably aware of shoe cream. That contains a lot of the colour in, so that's black. It'll keep it black. If you've got brown shoes, you use a brown shoe cream. You can get neutral as well. This is neutral, sapphire Renovateur cream. Now that is basically, if you've got old dry leather or brand new dry leather like that is, rub that in. That provides it with a lot of the oils and waxes that are necessary for it to not wear, basically, or to bed into your feet properly, to remain supple and hydrated. So I'm going to be giving it a couple of coats of that, and then probably one of the normal shoe cream, which does the same but not quite as intensely, but adds a bit of colour as well, keeps it black rather than starting to look grey. Rub those in, and then all I can do is wear them, and probably in about 6 to 8 years they'll be broken in. So that's the first coating of Renovator cream done. Basically it's a bit like Proofhide for Brooks saddles but thinner, so it supposedly goes further into the leather. Yeah, I'll just do that again. Leave them for a few hours, put another coating on, let that soak in, and just wear them around the house, until they start to soften up a bit. There's all sorts of tricks of the trade and stuff. You'll hear all sorts of urban legends about wearing them in the bath to soften the leather and all sorts of stuff like that. Get the leather to shape around your foot. Yeah, if you want to try stuff like that, feel free. The brass bits at the front, it's all tins, just purely there to protect from scuffs. Interestingly, clogs, there's 2 possibilities of where they came from. One is in medieval times when shoes soles were quite a soft leather, several layers, but still quite soft compared to a modern leather sole from a pair of Lokes or something like that. in bad weather, they would soak up the water, or you'd get stones through and stuff. So they had these things called pattens, which were a wooden sole, like a clog sole basically, but with a strap around the front and possibly one around the heel just to hold them onto your shoe. So you'd wear them like an overshoe, basically a bit like a gum boot sort of thing. Basically to protect your feet while you're up and down. And also late medieval times, or around Tudor times, when there were religious wars on the continent, we got a lot of Flemish weavers coming over, and obviously the weaving industry concentrated in the north, Yorkshire, Lancashire. A lot of them settled down here, and they would brought their wooden clogs with them. So this is like a combination of a British shoe and a Dutch shoe. You've got the wooden sole, the leather top, and they weren't just Lancashire and Yorkshire, all over England, and Scotland, all over Britain really. People would wear clogs because they were a long-lasting, relatively easy to make shoe. Every town, even when I were a kid in 1970s, there'd be a lot of cobblers about. There'd be every area of town would have their own cobbler. They'd repair shoes, and they'd also make clogs. Although clogs were sort of dying out really, they were more of a fashion accessory in the 70s, like a bit of a folk revival going on back in the day. And some people wore them, but most didn't, and they've sort of died out really. Which is a shame. And then you get your clog dancers, but I'm not dancing. I'm not doing that. I'm just wearing them as a sort of homage to my ancestors really, who worked in mills from 9 years old, back in the day. But, a few more coats of that should have them ready to wear. And Bob's your uncle. They're actually quite easy to walk in. You'd think a non-flexible sole would be difficult, but the bottom of your foot feels much better for it. I have occasional flare-ups of plantar fasciitis, and if I've been wearing the same pair of trainers or shoes for too long, it starts to really hurt. It's quite a painful condition, because obviously you're always on your feet walking about. These have a lot of room on the feet. They're quite supportive, so I'm hoping that they'll help in that respect. Not too heavy because they don't have irons on the bottom, and they actually look like you're wearing them on wrong feet sometimes when you're wearing them. They're not quite symmetrical, and there's a bit of a bulge to that part of your foot there, but not something you see every day, which is a shame really. But, everyone has their own ideas on these things. Personally, I like them, or else I wouldn't have paid out money for them. Well, if you've watched to this part, thanks very much for watching. See you next time. Hopefully, if my chest's better, I'll be out and about on the bike. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.